Welcome back to Scouse Farm. I'm going to give you a little update on the fruit trees. We've got our dwarf apple tree here, and I can't believe how thick these apples are getting. And by thick I don't mean a little bit slow on the old crossword puzzles, I just mean the size of them. Look at the development for the first full fruiting year of this tree, and the apples are massive. This one's still got a bit of, I don't know if they're supposed to turn red or if they are green or not, but this one's got a bit of red forming there, so I'll just wait and see. Or I'll look online to see what a bolero apple is supposed to look like. But for those who've not seen previous videos, this is a columnar dwarf apple tree. So it's bred on dwarf rootstock, and it doesn't get very tall and it doesn't grow out. So it stays very compact, which is great if you want to place it in a container. It's also great if you don't want to climb about looking for apples, because everything, as you've seen now, stays very close to the main trunk. And the marigolds that I put in, which were bought from Tara's tulips, they're still going strong, surrounded by all of the dead conifer pine needles from the big Christmas tree in the back garden. Every time it's stormy, all of the little petals and nettles and things just fall out of it. We've got a little onion there, buried underground. I don't know if it'll swell up much, but there was a lettuce just here that was shadowing it, so I don't know if it'll swell up. But we do have a few onions. And for those who've watched all the harvesting of the blueberries, we're still getting a few extras now. So we've got some green ones there, they'll turn blue soon or at some point, but the main harvest has been done now. But we're still getting a few stragglers on there, or late arrivals. I think there's a blue one there I've just spotted, so let's get in there and have a look. Yeah, he's going blue. Only a small one, but a bit left to go, but definitely a bit more on the harvest. And the carrots that were in the poor quality soil have turned out to be the best carrots, which is always the case. So they were just thrown in there as a little sacrificial lamb to see if they did actually grow in this poor soil, which was previously covered in big sunflowery type plants, and like the tree that was there and other trees further up here. So the soil isn't the best, but the carrots that I have pulled out from this side to where that is, there's a little row of carrots there, they were lovely. So next time I do it, I'll try and get it on video so you can see the style and the size of carrots. So there must have been a couple of different varieties, because one of them was a different shape. But let's get to the pears. On the way there, we'll have a look at the onions. I've harvested one, but just look how quick they swell up. They don't look much, and then all of a sudden they'll raise above the ground and they'll just swell out and make a much larger bulb. And that's what's happened with this one. And to be honest, I'll pull that out just to show you how easy it is. So hardly any pressure, little wiggle, little twist. There's your onion. So look at that, fresh, organic, beautiful, homegrown red Baron onion. And I'll just leave that to dry out for a bit. Not here, but I'll just dry it out, and then it's going to be usable, and that'll be going on bacon butties, bacon onion, mushroom butties, things like that, and cut it into spaghetti bolognese, make the sauce with it. Superb stuff. And oh look, the cat's decided to wee in a different spot now. Feeling left out, are we? Hey? Ugh. So for those who like it, you've just seen a cat have a slash. And let's get to the pears. Oh, that stinks, cat. You can see we've got a bit of pear scab or some sort of not nice infection around the skin, but it's very shallow. It doesn't affect the fruit, and that's from how wet of a spring and summer we've had. Previously, this rose that I'm going to show you now, that was growing right over there, and it was touching the side of the pear plant, and it was just constantly soaking wet, and loads of caterpillars were eating away at the leaves, so they were going diseased. This is a new growth, but previously they were all black, so I imagine that has contributed to the spots and the scab all over them. And we've got some other pears though on this side, a couple of decent ones. So this one here looks to be the best of the bunch. There's very little black spotting on that one, and it's now starting to look like a church bell, so it's going to be ready for dropping off or harvesting soon. And there's another one somewhere, there it is. Got a few spots on that one, but still we're going to get good harvest off that. So once they start falling off, or I decide to pull it off, I'll just leave it in the kitchen and it'll get softer, and when it's soft enough to eat, you've got yourself a lovely homegrown pear. And although the wind has battered it and the flowers have nearly finished, this is the beautiful purple Gladiola, which is now facing the ground when it should be standing up straight, but we all know it's in a windy spot. So I think what I'm going to do is dig out all of these Gladiola and put them in pots for next year, because it's just not really good. And early on in the summer as well, if you remember from previous videos, all of this under here is just filled full of tall opium poppies, so all different varieties of poppy growing in this spot. So I think they're going to get put in containers for next year. And you've seen the flowers recently, so I'll just brush past these, give you a little glimpse. Where the tree was, they're still going strong there. There was a tree behind them, but I've cut that down. And scooch past the washing. And for those who are interested in the potato experiment that I did, where I used some of my own harvested potatoes and I put them straight into the pots, ta-da! It's worked. So at least one has definitely worked, but there's 4 in there. 4 seed potatoes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of them has sent out growth already, which is brilliant. And I've just used a bit of mulch to go around the top, but underneath it's just Scouse Farm compost, so there's no like major amounts of fertilizer in there or anything. There's just a bit left in a packet that I had from a previous batch, so I sprinkled some of that in. And I'm thinking, even if just one has sent out growth, next year the other 3, I'm just going to leave them in there. They'll probably send out growth, so we'll see how they go. But I want to be harvesting that and seeing what I can get on Christmas Day. So first thing Christmas morning, whatever's in there underneath this leaf will be getting harvested. Right, let's scooch past the chives. I had a handful of them last night with me duck. And the garlic chives are the ones that you can see here, they flowered. So little hoverflies and bees will be on them soon, and they'll start producing seeds, and then the seeds will fall off, and hopefully I want to get this full of garlic chives moving across there. And we've got a leek there which was just put in to see if it worked or not, and that'll probably come good next year. So it's getting held up at the minute by that little clip, but I think we'll be all right with that one. And what I do want to show you is the size of these tomatoes. Look at them. They're like apples, and this is just one small 12-litre pot, and look at the size of them. And this must be the same variety as outside. I think it's Alicante, but maybe because this is the sunniest spot of the garden and I've pinched it off pretty quick at the top to stop it growing very large, then we've only got 3 trusses, but the fruit has swelled up massively, which is great for people with a limited amount of space, because you can just put a container like this on a balcony and give it something to lean against, because it's not even tied to this trellis, it's just leaning against it, and you've got an absolute great harvestable amount of juicy tomatoes. So when they turn red, they're going to be unbelievable. The late flowerer, the sweet peas, they're flowering in other people's gardens, but I just sprinkled a few of last year's saved seeds in this pot of lilies, and they've come out now and they're climbing all over the place, and they've definitely formed flowers. As you can see, we've got flowers there, so they'll open very soon, and then once they start flowering and they start dying off, just keep pinching off the flowers and it sends out new growth. So I'm thinking Indian summer territory there, we're going to get maybe a month's worth of sweet pea flowering late in the season. And the last thing I want to show you as I mooch through the gate is you can join me for an organic cherry tomato harvest. And there's the rest of the Alicante variety, which are the same as the ones in there. I think they are anyway, but they're not as big because I've allowed that to grow much taller. So there's less energy going into the trussers because it's been growing on, but that's still an amazing amount of fruit for just one seed. There's a massive truss there and loads under there, and they're turning red now, which is great to see. So I'm looking forward to tasting them. But the other variety, the Gardener's Delight cherry tomatoes, as you've seen in a very recent video, look at the difference in colour already. So that one's ready now, pretty much. I'm going to harvest that with you and have a little taste. Look at that. What? It's like something out of Pac-Man. It's beautiful. Well, I don't know whether I might save it. No, I'm going to eat it. Oh my god. You can't beat that. I'm telling you, anything you buy in the shop will taste nowhere near as good. Is literally what you've just seen happen there. Fresh from the vine, straight in your grid, get it munched. That one could probably go as well, but I'm going to leave it a bit. Don't want to be greedy. Right, look how many you've got to harvest. They'll all start turning now. Fruit all over the front. Outstanding. And you can see a bit better today how quickly the spring onions have started to put weight on, and they'll be ready for April next year, as long as cats don't dig them up, because I've pulled away all of the covers there as they were flattening them a bit. So I want to let them grow and start getting tall to make sure that they develop like the spring onions you can see there. Right, I think that'll do yous for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel and follow me if you're new, so you can see a few more updates on the garden and Scouse Farm. We'll see you all again soon.